Now, the leadership conference hosted by the Tourism Business Council is expected to wrap up today. This follows 2 days of engagements between various stakeholders in the industry. Ahmed Kajee is at the Sun City and joins us now. Ahmed, good morning. What are we seeing regarding programs for the future of the tourism sector?
Good morning, Hugo. A big part of what we are seeing with regards to growth within the sector is not just focusing on what is taking place today, recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic and looking forward to the 2030 target which the Department of Tourism and the Tourism Business Council of South Africa has set at 15 million visitors coming into South Africa by the year 2030. But that would also mean a development and innovation within the sector. Many of the stakeholders here saying that collaboration is exceptionally important as well. But speaking to those who will be entering into the sector as well, this is then important looking at the secondary and tertiary education programs as well, not just on a local level, but perhaps on a regional, continental and an international scale as well. And this is actually where we bring in one of the role players who is actually involved with regards to these specific programs. Judy Mkwedi, thanks very much for your time today. Judy, taking us through some of the programs which are then offered for students who would like to get into the sector.
The challenge that we are launching on the 22nd of September talks to future-proofing the sector. We have an ambitious target of 15 million international arrivals, but what we need are skilled people, and this is where this Middle East Africa Challenge comes in. It is an opportunity for our current cohort of students at universities and colleges to join other universities across the continent and in the Middle East to participate in a challenge which really sees them connecting with each other across the world and being exposed to those people who hire talent. And it's an opportunity for them to develop their skill, because what we do know is that what will hinder the growth and the potential of the sector is going to be skills and talent. And this is what this Middle East Africa Challenge is all about.
Judy, if one would like to get involved into a program such as this one, what should the process then be?
Oh, this is going to be terrible because I'm going to have to give out my details. But my email address, I'm going to use the simpler one. It's Judy, Judin, at vodamail.co.za. This competition is open to anyone who's in their final year at the university or a university or college, and they can then send me an email so that they can participate. 100 students from across Middle East Africa, a 3-month challenge, final year university, and then an incredible immersion and experience in Dubai, fully paid for, and the top companies, the Marriott Group, Emirates, My Group, Tourvest, we are all participating, and those 5 students from each country that will be chosen will then become the future leaders of the Middle East and Africa.
Judy, thanks very much for your time today. I'm sure you will be inundated with the mails going forward. So Hugo, there you have it with regards to the growth and the sustainability of the tourism sector, not just locally, but also growing local talent to perhaps take South Africa's name abroad as well. And just speaking to that particular destination, the likes of Dubai as well, and the Northern African regions as well, that is a central point of tourism on an international scale. So getting that local talent training over here, training in that particular area, and perhaps bringing it back then to a local front as well, that's exceptionally important. So I think it's very perhaps encouraging for many of the attendees over here to understand that it's not just necessarily about the role players of today, but also developing the role players of tomorrow. Hugo.
Ahmed Kajee, you've been in the last couple of days. Key highlights for you outside of the conversation that you've just had?
A big part of what we have seen and the key point is coming through is a collaboration between the public sector and the private sector. Many of the stakeholders, both from government and from the organizers, from the Tourism Business Council of South Africa, coming through to say this particular collaboration is exceptionally important. And the reason this actually is the Department of Home Affairs coming through with e-visas, making it more easy for international visitors to come into South Africa, specifically trying to get through to that 15 million visitors from international countries coming into South Africa by the year 2030. And then the second one, very closely linked to the tour operators, which we have seen in recent months, the Department of Transport making sure that they would like to improve the red tape processes around the tour operators, getting their licenses to perhaps carry on the efficiency of their operations. A major challenge many of these tour operators have faced over the last 12 months or so is, as they have come back into operation, their licenses would have perhaps expired in some way or form, or wouldn't have a chance to be renewed, and they subsequently cannot operate on the efficient level that they would like to. And that's just due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on logistics at a government level. So that private-public partnerships, which is something that's exceptionally important, this is a key point which have come out over the last day and a half or so at this particular conference, and it's just the case now of actually implementing this going forward, heading into tourism month for the rest of this month, into the December period, and perhaps beyond 2023. Hugo.
So the timing has obviously been impeccable based on what's coming up over the next couple of months. So first time that this conference has been held. Are the organisers of the conference happy with it? Has it been successful, do you think?
Yes, so we have spoken to the Tourism Business Council of South Africa early on, and we'll be touching base with them a bit later. And they say it's been exceptionally fruitful for an event such as this one to be taking place at a location such as this one. Sun City has been a key point in South Africa's tourism sector from the 1980s. It's almost 4 decades going on now, and will continue onto that trajectory. So this recovery process is exceptionally important, and this is exactly what the Tourism Business Council of South Africa is saying, that having all these role players from an international scale, from a local scale, and also from a government scale, getting private and public representation to engage on key topics within the sector. They say these discussions over the last 2 days has been really important for the growth of the sector, and this is something that they are hoping to bring forward as well. And just the topics such as the one we have heard from Judy a few moments ago, it's not just necessarily about the generation of today within the tourism sector, but just trying to develop those skills as well, so that those who would like to enter the sector can get international training and then bring it into areas such as this one. Over the last 2 years, there's been various challenges with regards to the COVID-19 pandemic. We had seen international travel from December 2021 due to the Omicron variant, and international travel was banned coming into South Africa from various countries as well. So unfortunately, these are some of the major factors which we have faced. And then if we just think back to the April and May period in KwaZulu-Natal, the floods to that particular region had devastated the tourism sector. The July sardine run was unfortunately not efficient enough over the last 3 years, both due to the COVID-19 pandemic and obviously the floods which we had seen in April and May of this year. So with the first December holiday period coming up now since the COVID-19 pandemic, a conference such as this one is a big part to actually show that, you know, what exactly can be done heading into this particular period. That forward booking is really, really important from the various stakeholders, and governments coming through as well. From the City of Cape Town side, we had spoken to James Force yesterday, the MMC for Economic Growth. He says with United Airlines coming into the sector, with Delta Airlines landing direct routes now into Cape Town International Airport, their growth is now really important. They're exceptionally optimistic on what they will be expecting, and they say a conference such as this one will be really important to just identify not just what will work for the December and January period, but also what they can implement next year as we head into the June, September and December period next year, as they make that goal towards the 2030 target. Once again, 15 million international visitors coming into South Africa by 2030. Hugo.
Our reporter Ahmed Kajee out in the sun at Sun City, and giving us that update on what's transpired at the leadership conference hosted by the Tourism Business Council. Thank you for your time this morning.